where I went to slide my card and they just wouldn't let me in because they don't fire you. You know, you just
Yeah.
fuck up enough that they pull your card and you just can't get in. And it's just like, oh, this is great.
Wait a minute. You don't even get an email or a text, is what you're saying.
No, your entry card just don't work. And
That's pretty special.
yeah, it's pretty great. So I used to do that every year. Um, and I actually think last year was the first year that I didn't do that because I was working at Dollar General. Um,
That's a pretty good, you know, tradition. It's the word I'm looking for that I forgot right there. Um, we're starting to get viewers. I think I might have you say that again. I might wait till we have more people pile in. What's up, everybody? If you're just joining us on YouTube, welcome to the second live Into the Biscuit Q&A. If you don't mind, go ahead and start posting comments, letting us know that you're here and that this is working. And then after that, we will, start doing questions and stuff. Yeah, so pretty basic tradition, but my mom made Christmas Eve. She made that Christmas because when I was like 8 or 9, I may have told you this before. I'll probably tell you this every year. This is my Christmas tradition, telling you the same story every year. She was tired of my grandma making us go over there at like 9 in the morning when we had just gotten up, opened our toys, and then as kids, we wanted to play with our toys, but we couldn't because we had to go to grandma's immediately. She got sick of that. So she told me and my brother that I guess we were real little. I wasn't 9. I was probably like 6. That Santa Claus called, had one of his helpers call her, and he was getting too busy to do Christmas night. So he had to start doing some our new Christmas Eve night. He had to start doing some the day before. Would it be okay if we did Christmas a day early? And of course,
oh,
fuck yes, we could do it a day early. Tell that
yeah,
fat son of a bitch that I'm ready. I'm ready on the 22nd. That's what he needs. I'm here for you, Chris Kringle.
that's hilarious. That's
But we've
great.
kept it. We've just kept it because as people got married and all that stuff, it's like, oh, it's better to do it on Christmas Eve because there's so many less conflicts.
I think all the different marriages is exactly what. Well, the prison stuff, kind of just disenfranchised me from that whole thing. But but even not really, man, because I was writing those you were put on those plays and stuff for Christmas, and that kind of feels natural. But anyway, or not, it feels good.
Yeah,
But
we would be able to take pictures with Dustin every year at Christmas in prison, but then we couldn't go last year because of COVID. So no, that was when it laxed. I got to see him. I think that was last year. God, that might have been 2 Christmases ago. I'm gonna go see my brother in a couple weekends for the first time in at least a year.
wild,
Yeah.
wild.
Well, we're starting to get some questions and stuff. I guess we could start doing that. Although I think I want to tease this out just a little bit more. I forgot what I was going to ask you though.
I remember what I was gonna say about marriages. Turning me off was like because, dude, it is something like what you saying the day before Christmas because of your grandmother. Well, I have like both my parents divorced and one of them divorced twice. So I have like step parents and fucking like, you know what I'm saying? Step grandparents and step grandparents is like so many people you'd have to go to during the holidays. Like your holiday would say like you never enjoyed shit, man. You were fucking, it was, you couldn't eat, you know what I mean? Like really, like whoever, it was crazy. It's
Yeah, because you
crazy
were
how much
full.
guilt it is too when you like eat too much at one person's house and then you get thrown down to all your other grandparents and you're like, I get you. It's not that I don't love you more or whatever. Just ate too much. That's when they lock you in a closet.
Dude, so I got a nephew who is so my brother-in-law Aaron, he got 4 kids from 3 women. And the middle woman, third kid, all boys. His mom lives in Knoxville, and that's been a thing of like, no, we have our own Christmas traditions now. He's not coming there. And then the grandma, my mother-in-law, is like calling her and guilting her, like, well, he's got his cousins and his brothers here, and he loves them very much. But it's all about her. Like that might be true, but that ain't why you saying it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it is a nightmare, dude.
Yeah. God, dude. God, man, what we fucking put kids through during holidays, like it's all traumatizing. We're just, dude. Oh, I can't even imagine. Like I know for one, like not only like being poor, and even though you have like all these people, it seems like you have all these people in your life, like having step grandparents that didn't really like fuck with you too hard, and like, oh, just the holidays are a nightmare. I hate
Step
everything.
grandparents has got to be weird because it depends on what age you are. If you're a baby, I would imagine you hit for your step grandparents. But if you're like 14, they don't give a shit about
They
you.
don't give a shit about you. No.
They're just buying you Rustler jeans from Dollar General that don't fit.
Yeah, man, dude, I'd get like or my mom would get some sort of weird gift card for us from them.
Yeah. Geraldine would buy gifts from the Dollar General, and it was always very cute. But then Clement would give you money, so it was fine. Let's go to some comments. Here's a good question. Justin Kirby says, just to piggyback off that, step grandparents was. It's got to be awkward. I never had
Yeah, man, it's the fucking worst.
because like you don't know how to act, and you got to like pretend to like their food and like their gift. It's like that fucking rabbit from A Christmas Story or whatever, that rabbit outfit. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
man, and it's also weird if you're like if the kids that they know, like their grandchildren, their personal grandchildren, like of course they favor them. So it's this like weird time. It's like this fucking crazy, like, and you don't want to be like, I don't care, but like everybody's being weird about this, and it's making me feel weird. I mean, it wasn't the thing that we got the gift card or whatever. That didn't matter. Like what mattered? Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking, yeah, it's weird.
Dude, I had to reverse. So my grandfather left my grandmother when she got sick with Alzheimer's. He always had a girlfriend. He just made one his wife when, my grandma got sick. He was a piece of shit. I didn't really want to be around him. He was dying. He wanted everybody to come back in his life. So, we all like made up one October, and I fucking hated it. And then that Christmas, we had to like be around him, and it sucked. But he was more of a grandfather to his step grandkids. And like I was like 18, I didn't give a shit. But we had like 12-year-olds, and they didn't know him, so they didn't care. But it was what you're talking about. But the actual grandkids were the awkward ones. And he was like, I got you this. And everybody was like, Jesus, this is so fucking awkward.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird, man. Like, dude, I don't know why we.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle PJs in college from step grandparents, that would hit. I could see it like sucking, like you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle PJs till 12, and then you hate it, and then you like it again, comes back around.
Yeah. I would totally get in some mutant turtle PJs. I got some Cookie Monster that I love. I've worn for years.
Yeah, literally years you've had those. I love it. All right, here's a good question. We're going to start with this one. All right, in the comments, y'all start telling us your favorite or least favorite Christmas traditions. We're going to answer this question just because we have one, and then I'm going to start with some of mine. We started decorating the day after Thanksgiving. We put our tree up. That was always my mom's tradition. Did you guys have a decoration tradition, DJ?
No. Nah.
What's your favorite or least favorite tradition?
Office parties, work parties. It's the goddamn worst thing that's ever fucking happened in the world to anybody in the fucking universe. Dude, especially when it's your fucking boss that takes you to his fucking house to show you all the fucking cool shit he bought with your fucking hard work. You fucking bastard. I can't get a raise, but you can get a boat.
No, we're doing something special this year. We got a $20 gift card to Starbucks to
Oh,
180
man.
employees.
Motherfucker, we worked doubles for like months for your fucking punk ass. I want you to die.
So
yeah, shit your boat is what I'm gonna do. Steal all your
put a
food.
hole in that boat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted by a comment. I think I don't want to say least favorite because I like it. This is a paradox for me. I love how much we go to the church in the South around Christmas because I think it's funny. But I also hate how much we go to church around Christmas in the South. I mean, this was on the Well-Read album, but this was true. Andy and I left my mom's house to get out of going to church for like the 9th time in a row. There was like another play or a katana or whatever they're called. Not katana, cantata. Sorry, I confused knives with chorus performances for a second.
So easy to do.
I left mom's with like the excuse of, oh, we've got to go to Angela's for just something, made something up thinking we don't want to go to church tonight. We get here and they're like, oh, we're glad you're here. We're going over to the church. We've got a performance. It's just like, let's do it all. Either stick to the Sunday or do it like on Christmas or Christmas, whatever you want to do, not both. Have the play, the service, and the chorus thing all on the same night, and the dinner and the gift exchange. Have a big old night. You can go for 3 hours. It's fine. And there'll be food. It's good to go. We don't need to have church 4 times this week. I know he's the reason for the season, but the season involves me sitting on my fat ass. That's what Jesus would want.
Wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree.
But I also like that every church has the same play with kids running around out there. And again, this is from the album. I'm not trying to ape my own jokes, but like they make the ugly kids and the fat kids be shepherds. Like only hot kids get to be angels. I love that spreads across every church. And that one kid's picking his nose. Like I dig that.
Yeah, man. I'm sure they love it. Have you ever had this right here? Saranac?
I've had Saranac, not that particular flavor.
Boy, they do it right.
I guarantee you. That sugar. We're getting some sausage balls. Hell yeah, sausage balls are good. Jessica Locke says my least favorite tradition was going to church. I think she posted that before I started talking. So, yeah. Here we go. Here's a good one. Oh, it's Solo Monk. My first time singing in public was a Christmas play at the church where my brothers and I played the 3 wise men. Sang O Little Town of Bethlehem. Me and my brother and my dad were the 3 wise men, and we sang We Three Kings, which is actually a rad song. We were talking last week about favorite Christmas songs. I really dig that one. We Three Kings. You know,
Where is it favorite Christmas song or favorite country Christmas song?
Well, yeah. You're right.
My favorite Christmas song. Let's see. What's your favorite Christmas album? Do you have any favorite Christmas albums that you fuck with real hard?
Yeah, I used to fuck real hard with. Is it Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra that had? I love those Jingle bells. Those hot, and I think he did White Christmas. That's Bing, right? White Christmas is Bing.
I fuck with Aqua Teen, Hunger Force, Have Yourself a Meaty Little Christmas, and the 1970 Sesame Street album. And those are my jams. I will fucking jam. Like, I don't like a lot about Christmas, and I especially am not one who fucking gets, deep into like Christmas spirit or whatever. But like both of those albums are just every Christmas I listen to them at least once.
Hell yeah, dude! I want to hear this Sesame one. I know the Aqua Teen one. So it was Frank Sinatra. Bing Crosby has the famous version of White Christmas, but I just looked. Frank Sinatra has a Christmas album. I'm sure he has 5. When I was in Australia, I was living in Australia. That's the only Christmas I spent away from home. It was awesome. We went to the beach dressed up as Santa Clauses. My buddy Luke went surfing as Santa Claus, and we made the local news, so we thought that was cool. We took Christmas tree down there, planted it in the water, and took pictures. All the Australians were like, what the fuck are they doing? Because that's not how they do it. They just get drunk and eat, And that album, we stole it from the library on CD. This was at a time before Bluetooth and smartphones. And that was the Christmas album, and we would play it every day. And then our buddy Pete would dress up in his underwear, like for 10 days straight leading up to Christmas. We had all kinds of visitors in town, and there was random people, a couple German girls. Pete would come out in his underwear and go, "Silver balls, silver balls, it's Christmas time in your panties." And that was fun. I missed that. That's my favorite Christmas tradition is my annoying friend Pete singing Silver Balls.
Oh, Pete, boy, what you gonna do with him? He always getting in trouble, ain't he?
Worst
He
fight I
always
ever got
up to
in
something,
on that
Pete.
trip was with Pete over peanut butter. That's how dumb you are when you're young. You fight over that. Crunchy versus regular. It was a whole thing. All right, here
Crunchy
we go.
fuck up your bread, man.
What does?
Crunchy.
Hey, man, I wish you were there with me that day because I was so crunchy. Dude, here's what happened. All right, quick story. Here's what happened. We were going camping for like 3 weeks. We had to buy a lot of groceries. We were getting 2 jars of peanut butter because we were poor. That's a good way to eat when you got 4 dudes living in a tent.
Right.
Grab 2 jars of crunchy. Pete says, let's get 1 crunchy, 1 creamy. I say, I think everybody prefers crunchy, but you, it's 3-1. He's like, I really want creamy. I'm like, all right, we'll get you creamy, buddy. 3-1, but we'll get you creamy. We're getting to the end of the crunchy jar. We're making sandwiches. Pete makes a sandwich. We're out of crunchy. I say, Pete, I'll make you a creamy sandwich, but then you trade me so I can have that crunchy. And he said, I think I want the crunchy. And I don't think I've ever been angrier with someone over something. Like, we almost came to blows. I took his sandwich. I think I took his sandwich like a bully. I was like, I took a bite of it at least. All right. Speaking of old friends, here's a good one. When I was back in college, I would go home and all my high school buddies would gather at a bar or a house party, and I missed that shit. That got old for me. I really enjoyed that for a little while, and I don't know if it's because of where I'm from or my own insecurity or what it was, but like I started hating that. I started avoiding people's calls during the holidays in my late 20s. I kind of think it's because like a lot of people, it was like sad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I would never be interested. It's like I'm not. Yeah. Yep. That don't sound good at all.
No. Our family Christmas tradition is Chinese food. When I didn't live in the city, I was always jealous of that. I always come home for it. I've always wanted to do that, like with Andy, just like not go home. And I mean, our families would not, it would be a big thing, but I would always want to do that or like Indian food.
Yeah, me and Dre do that every year. That's but that's really, or we just, cook at home. I mean, but sometimes, yeah, I mean, it's not really a tradition. It's just the only thing open, really.
That becomes a tradition. A lot of traditions are born out of necessity.
Yeah, is it necessity or is it just laziness? I'm saying, like,
you gotta eat, and it's what's open. I don't know.
It's so weird going into because I know a lot of Chinese restaurants. Whoever they're always open and they're always going to be open, and it's kind of like a thing, right?
Yep. Well, it's a thing because of that movie we were just referencing. I think it's called A Christmas Story.
All right.
Shoot your eye out, kid. Remember the dogs ruined the turkey, and then they have to go get duck, and they sang fa ra 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 ra.
I guess I don't even think I've seen that very, very many times.
I've seen it because it's on TNT, and because that's my wife and her mom's tradition is to watch that Christmas Eve.
I heard some story about It's a Wonderful Life having just like tanked the first, like when it came out, and it it took years.
Yeah, I think somebody bought it for super cheap to just run on like a Hallmark channel or whatever.
Yeah.
And then people were like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
Now here's a good one. Anybody in the South have swamp cabbage around Christmas? A my buddy's family does always around this time of year.
What is swamp cabbage?
Man, I don't. Steph, if you want to give us a description in the comments, I'll rather post that. It's got meat in it. It's like it reminds me of Hungarian food without the sauce.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Do you fuck with Polish food any?
I have been known to fuck with a pierogi or two in the past.
Oh, baby, that's what I was just about to talk about. Yeah.
Some little potato dumpling fucking ravioli.
Yeah, mashed potatoes and a ravioli. It's
Dude,
flames.
We've said it on here so many times. Poverty, obviously the worst, but God, it just creates the best stuff.
Yeah, it really does.
And the worst, obviously.
Man, it's funny. That's funny you should say that because, I mean, I guess poverty, being able to just, I don't know, it's making do, but it's creating. You know what I mean? You have creativity, maybe making, doing. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's always like amazing to me when people are like, if it weren't for rich people, we wouldn't have jobs. What would we do? I'd be like, you'd build your own fucking house. You'd have a garden. You'd be fucking milking a cow. You'd be fucking loving everything. You know what I mean? You'd be worshiping the sun, maybe, if that's what your thing was. I don't know. You'd be doing what the fuck ever.
Related
to doing
that.
What you huh?
Related to that exact point, I really hate when people are like, well, I'm not saying capitalism's perfect, but it's like, this is the best we've done as humans. I'm like, I don't think capitalism is responsible for that. And related to what you were just saying, it's like every point in history was just the rich exploiting the people beneath them. We've just changed how we do it. But like, the fact that we live better and longer, that's not capitalism. That's just human evolution. We're just getting smarter.
Yeah.
As if before capitalism, medicine never improved. I love this. So Mary Allred's Christmas tradition was the only time she would go into the Lord's domain or church was at Christmas to hear her momo sing. But she is dead now, and at the funeral, the preacher did an altar call specifically for her family that didn't know Christ. Dude, the funeral altar call is the height of Southern drama, is the funeral altar call. Because you're talking about hell, and you're talking about people's souls, so the stakes couldn't be any higher in general as far as Southern lore. And then you got a body you can keep kind of looking over to. You ever seen a preacher kind of be like, death's coming for all of us, and then just kind of look over there like, look, you will be dead, and you will go to hell. Look at this sumbitch.
Man, I know. I know. Anytime, like, I've been at a funeral. The one time I've been, it's completely stoic, regardless of what situation regardless of my connection. If I was sad or whatever, it's like every time the preacher opens his mouth, I've never heard a good funeral like a preacher do.
My dad do one well. I've heard my dad do one poorly too. It's hard. It's hard.
It's got to be
the hardest thing to do, he says. Because if you're a preacher, by definition, you believe certain things are important to mention at a funeral. But then as a human, it's like, don't nobody want to hear about hell right now? I got Ben Philippi trying to call people out. Your swamp cabbage blooms at Christmas. Those are March, April plants in PA. We can them, baby. That's how you make swamp cabbage. It's got to be canned and soft already. Christmas story every year. Oh, this is interesting. I think Kimmy is talking about. I think they're talking about A Wonderful Life. That's why I got into public domain. Is that true?
That's crazy if that's true.
I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through a million comments, which is great, but I'm trying to figure out.
That's all right. I was just sitting here thinking about how fucking much it, like, Christmas sucks, man. It just sucks.
No, Christmas rules.
It does not.
The culture around Christmas kind of sucks, but Christmas rules, dude. To have a day or a time period like the holidays where you can justify like getting off from work to go home and be with family. And I realize that puts pressure on you to do so. I realize there's like a negative side to all of these things, but I really appreciate that, you know, we attempt to love each other once a year, even if it is somewhat hollow and oftentimes ruined by capitalism.
All right. Well,
you don't want to debate it?
I mean, I think you pretty much know my argument for all the reasons why it sucks and it's terrible and awful. And what my answer
is like fake. Is that what it is?
Huh?
Is it that it's like fake, that it's like contrived?
No, man. I mean, fuck, dude. You know why 4th of July hits hard? It's not because of America. Yeah, man.
That's my boy Tommy Lee.
Yeah, man. It's just the whole thing's just traumatizing. The whole thing's just full of just bullshit. It's so entrenched, every bit of it. And I mean, dude, even not even having to go even like an office party. I've never been to a good office party at somebody's house, or at work. It's even worse when they're having it in the back room or something, and you got to go through there and fucking everybody fucking, oh God, and a bunch of coworkers that you fucking hate. You know what I'm saying? And you're just there, especially now. Oh man, dude, just breathing. Yeah, it's definitely for kids, and I don't have kids.
That's a good point.
If I did have kids, I know that it would mean a lot.
The Dark Canuck has made a good point. Christmas is for kids. I got kids, nephews, nieces in my family.
Man, 4th of July, that's an adult holiday. Okay, you barbecue, you get to the lake. You know what I mean? You can take that day off. You know what I'm saying? You grill, you drink, you smoke, you do your thing in the sun where it's hot. You don't have to stop when it's all freezing and shit, huh?
No, I'm listening to you and I'm with you. I agree with you. Let me give you my Christmas version of that if you do it the right way. And again, you got to be able to take off from work. You got to be, I'm recognized being blessed. And a lot of this is like from my time as a student or now as a comedian when I make my schedule. But it's like, yeah, man, you drink a bunch of wine. You sit by the fire. It smells good. Everyone makes cookies. You put weed in half of them. You don't put weed in the other half so you can keep eating cookies when you're tired of eating weed. You watch the same movie. You know where it's going. You take a 4-hour nap. You wake up. You eat turkey. You take another 4-hour nap. You wake up hungover. You all clean up together. Yeah, your uncle and your cousin got in a fight, but now it's kind of funny because they're both kind of assholes anyway. Like, it's minus the sun and the fireworks. What do you need, dude? You got presents.
Bro, you missed over. You just glossed over all kind of shit. And we even talked about how the church shit, the fucking.
And you didn't talk about how I got to stand up for the troops and the goddamn parade. They got the fascist parade walking down Main Street. Everyone's wearing red, white, and blue. You're glossing over some shit too.
There's fireworks, no parades. Fireworks, baby. Who's going to a parade on 4th of July?
Everybody. And also, there's a national anthem. And also, the fireworks are ostensibly to honor the country that was allegedly, according to them,
I'm going to be honest with you,
who are now crying in the corner because you're blowing off bombs in the fucking air.
Man, I got a whole lot of. I still have, and I'm not going to say. I don't know what it is. I would say, I can't wear no American flag shit no more. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds rad. DJ, you need to get some nieces and nephews or something in your life so you can steal their presents, dude. Come have Christmas with us. We'll steal all the kids' gifts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with stealing, but like...
DJ, oh, you mean you get to steal from kids? No, that'll be good.
I'm in. I'm just saying, man, it's just...
All right, this is a point that I understand. Do we really need all the crap they make and sell? Never gets used. Disposable gifts, rampant consumerism. That's what the holidays are now. It can be, and like, but again, 4th of July is buying, probably made by Chinese children fireworks packed in a plant with those chemicals that you shouldn't be around, and they're not.
Buddy, we're buying our fireworks out of a shed, right down on the Ocoee, dog.
And where do you think they got them, cuz? You think he's sitting in his house just packing up fucking gunpowder and knife powder? No. bruh.
Dude, I'm telling you. And I know a dude that sells them out and makes them in his shed.
All right. I think
If
you
I
should
buy
buy some of them for me for Christmas and come to my house and let me open them, and then we'll shoot those fuckers off in the middle of December.
except for
All
it be
I'm saying
cold.
is, Freaky Tiki makes a great point about the consumerism and all that, but like I can do that to everything. You can bring up anything, holiday, weddings. What hasn't consumerism
Okay,
tried
look,
to
man.
turn into a trap?
All I can think about there, like when I say consumerism and that kind of thing, is I think about all the kids who are having to go without and feel less loved, and like all the huge weight that we put on everything. And I even had myself as a kid who wasn't good enough, who wasn't going back to school after the first and like new clothes. We weren't doing that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a lot of trauma involved, man. And it's just like, man, I don't need this shit. Like everything you're saying, like we could do without all that it being Christmas.
I'm certainly sure that it is, but I just can't imagine it was very easy on you the rest of the year in general, being poor and growing up with that stuff.
No, but it does. I'm not even saying for myself. I'm saying, and I know for a fact, I mean, even though it was like that, where it shone this big spotlight on you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, there's also a lot of, I don't know, hope and positivity spread around that time. People are more likely to volunteer. That's a fact. But also they're more likely to kill themselves. I'm aware of that. Here's a good one. I love Christmas. Growing up sucked. The only good time of the year. It was the only holiday where my whole alcoholic family wasn't pissed drunk and fighting because we spit it with Grandpa. Best behavior Christmas.
Damn, I mean, that's kind of wild. It's kind of think of like Christmas being that time of year to look forward to because, everybody had to fucking get their shit together because Papa was going to be around.
A lot of people are agreeing with you. A couple people are agreeing with me. That's pretty general. Humans require a solstice celebration, says Gus. King before Christmas. I think that might be a typo. People brought green things and lights to the house when nature seemed dead. Feasts and lights when there's no relief in sight. It's an attempt to bring color and light to the dead of winter. I think that is kind of a metaphor for the conversation me and you, like the debate we're having here. It's like, yeah, it's disgusting consumerism, Amazon packages, everyone fighting, or, it's like an attempt to like hug on people in the middle of all that and eat some ham.
Well, I guess if you're lucky enough to be around folks that you want to hug, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna fucking punch you in the face.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But my favorite, one of my favorite Christmases, I was around, 4 dudes who were my friends from college. You know what I mean? We were living in a 2-bedroom apartment in fucking Australia. It ruled. Yeah, it's someone. Solo Monk says it's a litmus test for the health of the family. Yeah, or the friends or whatever you're trying to, deal with. I say we've talked enough about Christmas traditions. Let's discuss NASCAR because I semi-promised it earlier. So speaking of consumerism ruining things, I want to say confused by NASCAR's refusal to acknowledge its history, meaning that it started from moonshiners and people scooping up cars to run from the feds when they were running moonshine. And here's why. I realize NASCAR is trying to be, and by the way, this is a complete 180. Everyone watching right now, we're not talking about Christmas anymore. We're talking about NASCAR. Here we go. And Ryan Crum, I don't know if this is true or not, but fuck Kyle Busch. Right there it is. I understand NASCAR is trying to be family friendly and all that. It would make sense to me if it was drugs. But moonshine has become such a hokey. You want to talk about consumerism ruining things. Moonshine has become such a hallmark thing of like XXX, on the jug. And I mean, dude, fucking, what's that guy's name? God damn it. Now I want to say Popeye. Popcorn. Popcorn Sutton's face is on T-shirts in every fucking store in Knoxville right now, being sold for Christmas. My point being, I don't understand why NASCAR is trying to hide its criminal roots when everyone is on board with that type of criminal activity. I can't think of anybody, including preachers, who are like, the people who used to run moonshine were evil.
No, man, and that's exactly why they don't want them to legalize chicken fighting.
They don't
You know
want
what
to
I mean?
chicken fighting. Why?
No, because of what'll happen to it.
Oh, you mean people who are into it don't want it legalized because it'll ruin it?
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people. It's popular all over the world, and like, man, you go to some places in the world, it's like it's a totally different ball game. You know what I mean? I mean, I think a lot of people in the woods don't learn their lesson.
That's a really good
NASCAR hit, huh?
That's a really good point, but it kind of gets to my question of like, okay, they corporatized it, but you can corporatize that story. You know what I mean? Like you can talk about how your first champion was a former moonshine runner. They don't even mention that. You go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, they talk about their first few champions. 2 of their first 3 champions of the Winston Cup or whatever it's called were former moonshine runners, and they don't even bring that up. And I don't even understand it as a corporate move, because it's like, dude, you could make their names were Red. One of them's name was Red. I don't remember his last name. Let's say it's Jones. It wasn't, but you can make Red Jones Moonshine Runner T-shirts, sell them in this store, and make them. So I extra don't understand it coming even from a money perspective. Your hair is glorious. Jesus, look at it.
What?
Your hair looks phenomenal.
Oh, it's very greasy. It's got a lot of dust and probably a lot of welding soot in it. But I will say, I think that at one point in time that was happening, but there's a lot of like Seventh-day Adventist and like there's crazy church money involved in NASCAR specifically.
Okay, but you got Budweiser on Dale Jr.'s car. It's not like they have a non-alcohol image.
They have I think, promoting. And what about, does that promote drinking and driving? Is there some sort of weird?
Hell yeah, promotes drinking and driving. How you think they drove so fast through the mountains, cuz?
Dude, my papa was the last person in our family to drive. So I think I've told a story about here before about my papa getting his old lady getting decapitated and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, you have.
Okay. So yeah, man. Huh?
You can tell it again if you want.
No. But what I'm saying is, yeah, man, a lot of motherfuckers died and was traveling. I don't remember where I was going. I can barely. Where do we start with that right there? Why was I telling that story?
I don't know. Did you get smomed?
Yeah, for sure. But what were you saying though, for real?
I genuinely don't know. We were just generally debating. Oh, you were talking about there's like church money involved in NASCAR, and I was like, yeah, but they allow Budweiser.
And I was saying, oh, does it promote drinking and driving? And you were like, yeah. So I was just saying, yeah, man, there's no telling who I'll fucking do. Like, I guarantee down everybody, man. I mean, just wrecks, fucking death, and they can't like promote that shit, man.
I guess. I mean, but all right. I'm gonna post a comment that's kind of run counter to that. And I'm gonna post 2 comments back to back that I think is the debate. Justin Kirby says, we glorify the Old West, though. They should definitely lean into it. Exactly. Like, we have no problem glorifying even violence if you wash it a little bit or put just a little bit of history between it and you. And it's easy to do that with moonshine now. Maybe in the beginning it wasn't, and that just became tradition. Now, the counter to that, Ben says it's become an incorporated organization. That's kind of the antithesis to shine running. I think Gatlinburg, Tennessee begs to differ right now, personally. I think that used to be the case, but now you go up to Gatlinburg, if it's not a pancake house or a church. It is a fake fucking moonshine thing with T-shirts, and the kids are there, and the mom's drunk, and the dad's drunk, and the kid's probably drunk. I mean, they definitely got apple pie flavors. I don't know.
I mean, you can sell anything, but I think it's a slippery slope. Once you start telling the truth like that, this shit just got to start. Yeah, and then then you're going down and you're having to tell like real history. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of like better on them. Just kind of be like, yeah, if that's a weird thing, man. With like education and learning shit, it's like, man, when like it's almost like banning CRT or whatever they call whatever it is, CRT or all this racist stuff that their or education that they're trying to call racist, that they're banning from schools, right? So eventually your kid's gonna be able to like watch movies and like have the internet, like they're gonna find out, and then what happens? They rebel. So going right back to like the drinking and driving, as soon as we find out how badass it is to get fucking shit hammered and fucking drive a goddamn cranking old Model A and goddamn fucking they won't be off the goddamn. They won't be able to hold us down, baby. They won't hold us down.
I don't know where I thought. I don't know where we're going with this podcast, but I'm 99% sure that what DJ just said is as soon as we all realize driving drunk is fun, we will be unstoppable. Oh, man. Gus made a good point. I'm not sure I entirely agree with it. I think it's more about de-hillbillyizing their professional image as an organization and making a run against F1 globally like the Pierre dude and Talladega Nights. That is absolutely going on currently. I don't think that was going on in the 90s when they were against it as well, but maybe then it was like puritanical Christian bullshit, and now it's more that's hillbilly shit. We don't mess with it. Either way, I think it's a mistake money-wise. You know what I mean? God, everybody wants to get too big for their britches around here, even NASCAR.
I mean, don't you think eventually it'll go like that? But whatever the story is, though, we talk about the Wild West too, like that. You know what I mean? That's everything we've learned about the Wild West is a fucking lie. It's all a fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, what is the story? What is the story? What are you like? Fucking who knows? Well, we're gonna open up that Pandora's box of fucking moonshine running.
It's recent enough, that we know some of the stories that are directly related to it in terms of, again, the early champions. And by the way, according to Ben, his name was Red Farmer, and that's hilarious. The reason I read a book on this, and the reason I know anything about it is I always wanted to do a podcast about it, like historical, but I pitched it to a few people who were journalists in that world, and I got one to kind of agree, and then we couldn't get it sold. But like, I always thought if you had a researcher and a comedian genuinely going through what you're talking about, the actual story of the roots of it, that it would be rad, because that's such it's got a huge fan base, and people like moonshine and they like crime as far as stories go. It's all there. You got it all. You got it all, man. I don't
know, man. I mean, we need to know the history of stuff, but man, I bet it don't hit. I bet it ain't just as cool as it just be a moonshine and running for the police. I bet
people did fucked up stuff.
Oh, I guarantee it's dark and gross and awful and fucking.
That's still cool as far as history goes, though, because all of history's like that. You can't. It's not like I went there and hoping to find something like a nice story. I knew what it was going to be. I want to hear our version of it. Hillbillies get to have our own version of that bullshit.
I mean, yeah, we do, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's always a fucking slippery slope when you goddamn start educating yourself. I mean, 1 minute you're just fucking watching Tombstone, fucking loving every bit of it. Then you learn that fucking Wyatt Earp is fucking. Honestly, he just was working for the casino owners, trying to run other people out of town.
Because you knew that as soon as he put that star on. Like, that's why I didn't go reading that history.
Yeah. They just broke my heart, man. It breaks your heart.
I'm sorry.
Still hits. Doc Holliday still hits, Phil.
Yeah,
But man,
and I'm sorry. And also, the story is what's important. Listen, I think that if you guys listen and take away anything from today, it's that you should drive drunk and learning is bad for you. DJ's running for student council, and that's his platform.
man, dude, I wish I didn't know nothing, man. I wish I didn't know a goddamn thing. I wish I didn't have no opinions. I wish I just went and fucking did whatever I do, and I just did it, and I just didn't even have nothing. I just didn't have none of that right there. No thoughts. Or not no thoughts, man. Have you heard about dead internet theory? It's not even a theory, man. It's fucking for real, huh?
No, I don't know about it. Do I want to?
No.
Well,
so I ain't gonna tell you. That's why you don't need to learn.
To Phil. Go ahead and tell us.
Well, basically, man, everything. If you ever get a sense that you're just being poisoned by lies, from in an algorithm, like the algorithm is leading you with lies and creating your reality. Well, guess what? You're right. It is. We're in the matrix for real. We're being the algorithm is leading us. We are doing what it's telling us. There's nothing but tell us what to buy and how to feel.
Yeah. I mean, television was doing that before, and before that, weren't somebody. I'm not trying to downplay it. You know, it's right in your face now. That's what's different, right? It's in my pocket, and I go to it every day on purpose. But the move ain't different, right?
Well, except for it's more targeted. I mean, with the internet, I mean, like it's all being led by like corporations and like they're leading. You know what I mean? You're being targeted and you're being led, and it's just fucking. It's not real, but it is. Man, it's so weird. So weird.
Well, happy holidays, everybody. CFS is trying to explain dead internet theory, but it's not making it any more clear to me. Something about living in a simulation?
Well, not so much that. It's just that, like, because the algorithm's been run by like corporations and marketing and stuff like that. I mean, you're basically being fed an algorithm, man. Whatever, it's like all recycled news. It's all recycled. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not. You're getting this very base bit of stimulation and information. Just look into it, man. It's quite frightening.
I mean, it sounds like what we've been talking about for a while, honestly, from Q and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's not that surprising, and it's also something we've been talking about where, and we're not the first people to point this out. Brave New World is way more apt than 1984 to me. If people are familiar with those two seminal science fiction foreboding works.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything? You got any parting? You got anything hopeful to say today, DJ? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of hope, man. A lot of love, man. I mean, I don't feel negatively about any of that. I just feel like I don't wish I had any thoughts or opinions or that because like I don't trust them no more because I know they're not mine. I know they're implanted there by the algorithm.
What if you unplug from the algorithm? Will you get your opinions back?
You can't.
Well, people are asking us to tell us about art projects, so we can do that at the end. Before we do that, and I'll give you time to think about what you want to say. I talked about this on the Well Read podcast, but it's not out yet. I got what Trey and Corey call Taco Bell's palsy. So, like, when I lose sleep, one side of my face kind of draws up, and the other one kind of droops. So I got a crooked smile, and I don't know. I just thought you would enjoy that. That I get so stressed out, my face twists. Is that an algorithm problem?
Probably got something to do. Are you sleeping near a cell tower? Have you heard about 5G?
Listen, is there another place to sleep? Show me where to go.
Okay. I don't know.
Joe Blow wants to know. This is a good point, and we're aware of this, and we've talked about it. We get on our internet platform and we complain about the internet. And we're right to. You got to use the tool to destroy the thing as best you can. But are the algorithms sending me DJ? Joe Blow, I think so.
Yeah, man. Here I am. Oh man, dude, look. It's wild. I mean, it is wild when you get into it. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, no wonder people are freaking the fuck out. We weren't ready for this shit. We weren't ready for it.
No.
This, this, and this is not the internet of the 2000s. It's like fucking chat rooms and shit, man. People are jumping big ass fucking dude. If you know how fucking just to how like pinpoint, like you could just fucking mark it to like a certain specific and just feed in it. You know what I'm saying? With man, dude, it's crazy,
dude. Yeah, it's wild. Facebook had to but Facebook shut theirs down just so they didn't have to tell the government about it. And like we talked about this back in the day when that first all happened with Well Read. You could go on Facebook and pay a certain amount of money to advertise. And Facebook would basically say, they would claim, and at first I didn't believe it. They'd be like, we can pretty much tell who would be into you, and we'll advertise to them in a city you're going to come to. And it was like, and you would read about the program of how they do it, and it's like, well, these people watch these videos, they like Jason Isbell, they do this and that. Well, you're an artist, you're hearing that, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah. Oh, it figures out that people like Isbell, and then they like Ron White, and we are right up their alley. But then you start thinking about how manipulative it is and how it can be used for things other than you might like this comedian.
dude.
And next thing you know, fucking Q happens.
Dude, that's exactly it. That is 100% it. Dude, and I ran into all this shit, man, like trying to speak about the project. Like I'm trying to like, put up a, just for the actual like pieces for this, like, so I'm looking up like like rural Americana art and fabrication or craft and trade and things like that. Holy shit, dude. And then like found out like was like fucking going through there and just kind of learn how, not even a whole lot of how that happened, but enough that I just started fucking, I'm like, man, there's something so sinister. There's something so fucking sinister
about the algorithm in general.
Yeah. About it all. About it all. And about where it is actively well, we're leading it. We're feeding it, but it's leading us. It's like it's inside. I can't really. I mean, who knows? It's art imitate life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, it's one of the things. Like our energy going into it, it's like an almost, is what's coming out, and it's insane. Like on a deep fucking conscious, fucking subconscious, fucking level. It's kind of like it's so weird, and like so many people. I had this conversation. Not to just bring him up, but like Trump made so much sense when he got. It's like, oh yeah, that's who we are. In this weird, not like in the more holier places of us, but definitely it's in the more material. You know what I mean?
Well, Jessica Locke says you sound like her Vietnam vet dad. I don't feel educated enough to speak in great detail about the algorithm in general and what you're talking about. There is a part of me, and maybe I'm naive, that still is like, look, it's just people. We've always hurt each other. We've always manipulated each other. The internet just is such a rapidly growing way to do it that it's scary, but can we not use it for good too? But maybe I'm ignorant.
I mean, like, yeah, of course we could use it for good.
Oh,
holy
Mary
fuck, dude! Like, the only thing
Allred
that's made me feel better about,
Mary Allred posted this comment as I was saying that. The internet was made by humans in our own image. Humans are both hideously evil and beautiful love. Consciousness is hard, bros.
No, man. Yeah, totally, for sure, man. I mean, I'm talking shit right now about it, but like at the same time, like you could just watch like mutual aid, like through this entire, like the only thing that's had like really for me personally, like any like sigh of relief is watching all the mutual aid groups get in there and being able to like at least talk, know people are talking and like being know that people are talking to you and communicating and people are being helped on a very personal level. I mean, God, dude, there's no substitute for that. There's no substitute for that. But
right.
but I'm not gonna sit here and say like, man, this shit driving motherfuckers crazy, and there is a very sinister underlying there. You know what I mean? Not, but it can be, of course. I mean, and why wouldn't it be? There's got to be ebb and flow, right? I mean, we got to be like contrast and concave, I guess. I suppose. I mean, I don't know. Hell, look at this.
What both corporations and evil politicians, or maybe all politicians, realize is what they have in common in terms of a need to get what they want is mobilizing people. And they don't care how.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or who, as long as they're getting the power or the money from them to do it. And so the internet has allowed, what is new, I think, is that the internet's allowed people who think that way to, as you said, the word pinpoint, to really target and find their target audience in a way that does feel new. I hope that future generations, it's harder because they're less naive about what the internet is.
Or maybe we are. I mean, which is always possible. Them not being. I mean, I can't imagine being able to grow up with this ability. You know what I mean? It seems like maybe be able to handle it and understand it and have a better grip of it. Whereas it's all very, very new and disturbing.
Mountain Moon Mama says Target has known and predicted when people are pregnant before they do because of the internet. Bruh, what?
That is fucking crazy.
That ain't good.
That ain't good, bruh.
All right, well, I gotta go because I'm afraid I'm pregnant.
All right, baby. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I told you last week we're going to make this semi-regular, and then we did it back-to-back. Next week is the week before Christmas. I think, DJ, I'm going to take it off, or maybe the week after. Me and you will figure that out. But we will have an off week in the next couple of weeks, and then 2022, we will come in with a bang. You got anything else to add, brother?
Yeah, this coming Monday. Don't forget it. And if you're in the it'll be at 9:00 Eastern. If you're in the Utica area, I'll be down here at Uptown Arts Center for the Arts in Utica. We'll be hanging out, doing some comedy. Yeah.
Hell yeah! And what time is that?
I think signups are like 6:30. So if you come around there, I'll be hanging out. This is it's a mic, but I'm very excited about it.
And what time is our Zoom show Monday?
9
o'clock Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
That's you guys join us. I'll be coming to you, I think, live from Nashville. I think, DJ, I'm gonna end up doing a fundraising show for those folks in Kentucky at the East Room in Nashville, and I'm gonna be broadcasting from backstage. And having those comedians come on and talk with me and respond to the art and mess. I gotta get with my guy Will and figure more out about that. But there's no reason I can't do both. And I really do want to help him if he's raising money for one of those towns in Kentucky that just got obliterated.
Okay.
What's wrong? Something don't hit?
Huh?
What's wrong? Something don't hit? You got real weird.
I mean, it's not that it don't hit. We'll figure it out.
Oh, you're worried that'll be a problem? I don't think that'll be a problem. It's at a different
I don't think it'll be a problem.
Okay. Well, I wish we wouldn't have had this publicly. Mom and Dad are fighting. All right, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Bye, baby.